Hello everyone. Thank you for tuning into this podcast series. I am Abhishek Goyan. I am a senior full stack developer. I am passionate about technology and innovation. Today's podcast is on career strategies with Pramod. It's my pleasure to introduce Pramod. He is a lead backend developer at Oter.app. So let's give a warm welcome to Pramod. We are excited to have you here today. Over to you, Pramod.
Hey Abhishek, thank you for inviting me. That was a very warm welcome. So yeah, as Abhishek introduced, I work at Oter as a lead backend engineer. Oter is based out of Amsterdam, and so that's why it's a remote first company. And my prior work experience would be, so I started my career as a software engineer at a survey based company. Then I switched to an ad tech company called AdPushup, and after that I transitioned to Oter. That is me.
Nice, Pramod. So Otter.app is a remote-based company. So what is Otter.app? Like, what does it do?
Oter is a microlearning platform, and so we have more than 17,000 books, and we have a very good personalized recommendation engine as well. So if you're into books, you should definitely have a look at it. I'll definitely love it. So it's a startup, and yeah, we all love books, and we would love you to read the books. And if you can go to Oter and pick any book, and you can get the insights and takeaways within just 15 minutes.
Right. So Otter basically is a book reading platform where users can go and read the books. Nice. Yeah. So let's move on to next question. So Otter.app is a startup company, and so what do you see like pros and cons according to you?
Well, that's a very good question. There are a lot of pros which I can think of right now. The first one comes is flexibility. So you have flexible working hours since it's remote. So even though you have some little bit of work in your own personal life, you might be able to do it on some days. Well, the flexibility will also come in the con. I'll let you know. But yeah, so one very big pro is the flexibility of working hours, and the second is the learning curve. So if you are at a startup, you'll have to wear a lot of hats at times. Well, it also depends on what stage the company is at. But at early stage startup, you get to learn a lot of things, which is really good at the start of the career, because at that time you have the energy, you have the patience, and you have that mindset as well that I have to grow. That learning, it really helps you in your career building in long term. And the second, so there's a second. The third is ownership, and because the teams are very lean at startups, so you'll have to own the features from scratch to release. If there are any bugs, maintenance, everything. So ownership comes. So that's a big stake. And the next one, and this is one of the very big things, is product decision. So you get to have a say in product decisions of product, how the feature should be, if there are any changes which you want, something, any opinion that you can convey. And that might not be a thing in the big companies, because over there the PMs will take the call, the devs might not. But at small scale startups, even the developers or everyone has their say basically. So those are some very big pros. And the cons would be, again, the first thing which I listed at pros, flexibility. The same thing comes as a con as well, because there will be times when the work-life balance can be really hampered. If there is a lot of work, it can get hectic at times. So one is that. The second would be lack of processes. Like, startups have a lack of processes as compared to bigger companies. So, but again, that is pretty understandable, because there is a reason there is to it. And the reason is, with startups you have to keep iterating things to find a product market fit, and what's working and what's not working. So those are some pros and cons.
Yeah, Pramod. So you are working at Otter, which is giving a remote job. So like we would like to know how did you get this remote job?
Yeah, so for me, it was my network. So I had a friend who was already working at Otter. He referred me here. So, and for anyone looking for a remote job, or just in general, I would highly recommend you guys to have a good network. If you are in a college, connect with your seniors, your alumni. In college, there are some technical communities. Please join them, because those are the networks which will really help you in your long term, in your career, be it in your early stage for internships, or be it in your mid career where you want to switch and you want some referrals. The networks are highly crucial in your career if you want to grow. So for me, that worked. But let's say, if even without networks, you can get remote jobs. There are some websites like Wellfound, Y Combinator. Y Combinator has a portal. Most of the jobs are remote over there. So you can go. There are many such platforms available online as well. But I think from what I have seen in my personal life, as well as from my friends and my circle. The most helpful part is getting a referral from someone whom you already know. That is where networking really helps.
Yeah, Pramod, I agree
You can
to
also
this.
connect to people over LinkedIn.
Yeah. So let's move to next question. So what is the most important skills while working remotely?
Interesting. I would say the most important skill for a remote worker is his communication skills. Because what happens is if you're working on site, even if you're not that good at communication, but your work is being witnessed, there won't be any questions. And let's say if there are any dependencies, you can resolve them by just talking to them. But what happens in the remote team is if you are not good at communicating, your efforts may not be visible. To get that visibility, that uh, so that your efforts are visible across the team, and also because you're not the sole individual contributor, right? You're working as a team. So what happens is there are intra-team dependencies. For example, I work in the backend, so the app team is dependent on me. What happens is if I'm not good at communication skills, there will be delays in release of features. They can be bugs as well. I would say the communication skill is the most important thing, because technical skills can be gained over time. Someone can learn it from internet, but communication skills are something which is really helpful. And also you have to be actively involved in whatever is going on within the team, be it the technical discussions, be it the architectural discussions, or be it any product decisions as well. If you are highly active, that definitely helps you gain visibility across the team members, your senior stakeholders as well. So be highly active, have good communication skills, and yeah, have a good attitude toward work and friends. I mean, your colleagues are your friends, so have a good attitude, keep a positive attitude. That will definitely help you in the long run. That's a very good thing to have.
Sure, Pramod. Yeah. Yeah, let's move to next question. So what does your day-to-day life look like?
So I try to learn every day. I try to dedicate at least 1 to 2 hours of learning for every day. If sometimes my work gets really hectic and I'm unable to do that, I try to move that to weekends so that I get some extra time on the weekends to learn. But I think everyone should keep learning, because we are in tech. Tech keeps evolving every day. Every day there are new technologies coming up, new frameworks. So keep reading engineering blogs. There are many engineering blogs of big tech giants over there. You'll get to know about how are they implementing things at scale. So keep learning, and so that is one. I focus on self learning, and the second thing is I try to read at least 15 minutes on Oter. And why do I do that? Is because we have access to a lot of books, and all the authors have penned down those books after going through a lot of life experience. So I think 15 minutes is totally worth it, so that within the 15 minutes you can gain insights from their experiences as well. So that will help you on a personal level. So that is one. And the next thing which I have just recently started is I've started exercising. I didn't used to do that earlier, but with time I thought that that I should also prioritize my health, and it was the right time to do so. So I have started exercising as well. Apart from that, there's work. Work will always be there. Apart from work, I also chill out with friends, go out on movies and those things. Normal hangout. So that is also a good refreshment to have with your work. So that's how my day-to-day life.
Yeah, nice to know. So even I do some exercises, and I would suggest to do some exercises like 30 minutes, just enough for a day. We always get into work and get time to exercise. So exercise will definitely help your all this. So now let's move to next question. So how do you keep up with your productivity?
That's a very good question, because I face this problem a lot. I used to procrastinate, and I'm very sure that there are many people might be facing the same problem. So it happened with me in the earlier company where I used to work. That what I used to, let's say I'm assigned with 5 to 6 tasks for the day. I used to think that, okay, let's say I have 5 to 6 tasks, I'll complete by the end of the evening. Let's just watch one episode of a web series, or I'll just binge watch some YouTube videos. So I used to think that, okay, I'll just watch one episode and then I'll complete this work. But what used to happen at the end of the day is I used to get piled up with work, and when there is a lot of work piled up, it used to cause stress on me. So because of that stress, the work becomes ineffective. So one of my seniors, I talked to him about this problem that I have. So this is what's going on. He recommended me one simple thing. It may sound very naive to you, because it did sound naive to me as well. But the thing is, what he recommended was maintain a checklist. So I do that nowadays. So just maintain a checklist of whenever you start your work day, whatever is your to do, just maintain a checklist. The best case would be to note it down on a diary with pen and paper. So what happens is when you note something down, it gets embedded to your subconscious mind. So even if you get distracted, be it Instagram, be it some other social media, you'll have that thing in back of the mind that, okay, I have these many things to do as well. So you will come back just after watching one reel or something. And also, let's say once you start ticking them, you see that, okay, I've ticked 2 of them. If I just complete more 2 things, I'll be half done for the day. So that gives you a sense of boost. And once you have completed half of them, you'll think that, okay, I've done half already. If I complete rest half, I'll be done with my today's work and I can get some extra time to chill. So that definitely boosts your productivity. It really helped me, and I'm very sure it will help you as well. So I think that is what I follow for productivity. And Abhishek, what I'm very sure you might have faced this problem as well at some stage. How do you cope up with it? What do you do?
Yeah, so I use a Google Keep application. There, I make some to-do list based on priorities. I put them, and I use Glassboard to prioritize my days. Let's say I have to do some work, right? What is their priority of their order of execution, and then let's say I have to do some exercise, take some medicines, right? Take some supplements. All of that I write into Glassboard and I follow it. And I follow 2-minute rules, which means like something is shorter. Let's say you have to pay credit card bill, right? So immediately you just pay it off and get back to the work and avoid distractions.
That definitely helps.
Yeah. So let's move to the next question. So what would you suggest for someone who is starting career as a backend developer?
So for someone who is starting their career as a backend engineer, I would say focused on DSA. So I'm very sure when you will be starting your DSA, there might be questions in your head that why learn DSA if it's not helping in this industry. But the thing is, it helps you with problem solving. It gives you a mindset that, okay, given a problem statement, you have the ability to brainstorm and how to crack it down, break it into subtasks, and give you that attitude of problem solving. So focus on DSA. And then comes logical reasoning and thinking. So I would say focus on that as well, work on that side to think logically. Like, let's say you have to implement a feature, bring out pen and paper and think about how can you implement it. Think logically, what would be the best case. Sometimes you might think of something technically very complex, but that can be done within very easy steps as well. So logical reasoning, I would say that is very helpful. And then practice system designs, because when you design systems, you get to learn a lot of new things on and that how the large scale systems are working. Think of scenarios like how, let's say, if you have to design a Facebook today, you have to design the server for YouTube today. How will you handle the load? How will you ensure that there is zero downtime? How will you ensure that the latency is good, the ping is good? How will you ensure the availability of all the servers, of all the requests coming in? So think about all the scenarios, make a chart and make some diagrams. Think about how will you connect from the user initiating a URL request to how will the request go to the server? How will what should you cache? What will go to the queue? And how will the process look like? And how will the result a response come to the user on the browser? Like, think about the overall picture at a big scale, and that will definitely help you optimize, think in optimal way. So I would recommend that. And also fundamentals of any library or language which you are working. For example, if you want to get started with Java, if you want to get started with Node.js. So fundamentals are very important because they play a very vital role. Because what happens is, if your fundamentals aren't very strong, the code you are writing might not be the most optimal way, because you cannot think of other solutions. So, but if your fundamentals are very clear, you will know that, okay, I have this option as well. I can take this path, which will be more optimal. So fundamentals are very crucial.
Yeah, so these are really great advices for someone who is really looking into backend developer role. Yeah, so let's move to next question. So tell us about one complex problem which you have faced as a backend developer.
That's a very interesting question, because as backend engineers, we keep facing a lot of problems every day, and a lot of complex problems every day, actually. But I would say one of the complex problems which we had was, so I'll give you the entire context. So the thing is, we get emails from many companies, right? Promotional emails. So the promotional emails get sent out to a lot of users every day, so that they can be conversions. They let's say there is a campaign for a festival. There is campaign for Black Friday, New Year, Christmas. So those kind of campaigns have to be sent out every day. and the marketing team has their own plans to reach out to users. So what happened in our case is we had to send like 5 to 6 million emails every month. And we were the third party service which we were using. I won't name the service, but it's the best. It's among the, I would say, top 3 services which is used in the industry. Costed us around $0.009 per email. $0.009 per mail may sound very low, but if you
Yeah.
multiply that with 5 to 6 million email requests, that becomes a very huge number. Yeah, I mean, many people use that, but the thing is, us as a startup, we have to keep a track on the burn rate as well.
Yes.
That is where we chipped in on how can we solve it. Like how can we reduce the cost? Because the thing is, as the user base is growing up, the number of emails will be growing up as well, and there is no way we can reduce the cost if we keep using the same solution. So if we want to reduce the cost, we'll have to do something which we haven't done. So that is when we sat with the team, brainstormed on what can we do, and what we ended up doing was creating our own email servers. So then we have our own notification service, like for push notifications, for in-app notifications, for emails. We have our own notification service which is being handled. But in the email notification service, we used to have a third party for the emails. So on that email service, on that notification service, we embedded our own email service. So our email service has a set of own VPS. We went out and got some VPS from a provider, and we have a number of virtual private servers. And what we do is, so let's say, for example, there is a VPS of 4 gigs, then there is a VPS of 8 GB, and then there is a VPS of 16 GB. So all those servers can have different capacity. They have, at a single instance, they can process a number of requests that varies depending upon the RAM amount, right? So to solve that, we made our own load balancer. So that was a very interesting problem which we worked on. And right now, the emails which are being sent out, the cost of that has been drastically reduced. Really proud of that work. And because of that work, the cost of marketing emails were brought down by 96%. Yeah. So that was one of the complex things. Yeah, that's huge, man.
Yeah, man, I agree. This is huge cost which you guys saving. Yeah, so with this, I would like to say special thanks to you for joining us and letting us know your career strategies and insights and how you're optimizing servers, cost, backends, and all that is really helpful. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Pramod. Bye.
Absolutely loved it being with you, and looking forward to the next podcast. Cheers.
Sure.
Thanks, Abhishek. Bye bye.